What about those, the artisans, let me use the SMEs, for instance, empowering those local people out there? What have you done in that respect?
Now, let me, you know, our developmental strategy is what we term Delta Beyond Oil. That simply means that, yes, we're an oil-producing state. We have some funds coming from oil, but the oil economy is not a sustainable economy. And it's becoming obvious, not just in Delta, but in Nigeria, because what is happening is that America, that used to be one of our biggest importers, they now have their shale oil, so they don't need that oil any longer. Many African countries are beginning to produce oil. Of course, the cost of oil is very, it can go up today, down tomorrow. And in fact, the more frightening one is tomorrow, that oil might not be there any longer. So what we try to do is, how do we look at other areas of the economy beyond oil? And that is what we've tried to do in the last, especially in this administration. And in dealing with it, there are two aspects. There's the aspect of putting up infrastructure that will attract investments, private investments. But there's also what we call the low-hanging fruit, the quick wins, where we can empower this group of people you're talking about, the artisans, the peasant farmers, and all that. And those quick wins we are dealing with through a microcredit scheme, where we encourage them to form cooperatives and try to fund the cooperatives. It's quite challenging because there are so many that you cannot, we have so far tried to empower about 111,000, that's the number. But there are so many that are still waiting to get. Fortunately, Central Bank of Nigeria has now come in to assist, and 2 weeks ago, we got one of the two states that at least Central Bank is dealing with directly because of the structure we have on ground. So we are dealing with them through a micro credit scheme. But having said that, our youths especially, they are the biggest challenge, dealing with our youth and dealing with our women, try to empower them. To become, before you get to the youth age, you also have the school age. We have a lot of programs in the school, and by the time you get to the youth age, also a lot of education programs. But we are also now looking into the area of skill acquisition for the youths. We have a skill acquisition center that has been developed by the United Nations, UNDP, in partnership with UNDP at Bukodo. We also have some that we are sending abroad for training. We have a group that is supposed to be in Trinidad and Tobago now, but as they were about to go, this Ebola issue broke out. So we have the governments of Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago said, hey, hold on a minute. We have to be sure that these guys are Ebola-free. Even when we have certified that they're Ebola-free, they're still giving us some challenges. But we hope that in the next few weeks we will have cleared that and they'll be on their way. But we've done every other thing that will make them to be in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have all these youth programs. In spite of that, we still have a long way to go in trying to get the youths engaged. Because the youth population has, I would say in the last few years, has greatly increased. And what is even worsening it for us now as a state in the last few months is Boko Haram. Now, there's a lot of migration from the affected states, states affected by Boko Haram, a lot of migration into southern states, and Delta is one of the states that they are migrating to. And the population that is migrating here are mainly youths. You know, so when you come out, if you come out of this studio, for instance, and you're on the road, you see a lot of persons carrying buckets, carrying shovels, and all that. Those are also youths that the state has to also deal with one way or the other. So we have all those challenges of youths that is facing us.
It even becomes a little more dicey because one will think that ideally you should be able to capture data of maybe number of youths coming into the state, the number of youths your state originally has, and so that you can plan and cater to them? Because you just said that the people who give you the most challenge, you use that word challenge, are the youths, and people usually see youth as an asset. How do you now convert that challenge into an asset? It must be an ongoing work.
The challenge for any leader, or most leaders in Nigeria who are into planning, is the challenge of statistics. Statistics, in terms of human beings, you actually start from the birth records, where they were born. But as much as we've tried to, at least capture it from that level, you know that a lot of births still take place outside settings where you can get statistics. Even with our free maternal health care program, when we say, okay, go to the hospitals and all that, even those that benefit from that program and they have antenatal care, when they're about to deliver, some of them still do not go to the hospitals. Why? Because they are more confident with their traditional birth attendants. So the challenge of statistics is quite it's a difficult thing to handle. And then for those that are even coming in, sometimes you see a trailer, 2 trailers, 3 trailers, of people just coming in, and it's difficult to capture such persons. Of late, we told we asked immigration to just at least go around and see these people that are coming in, whether they are even Nigerians at all. We discovered that some are not even Nigerians, from Chad and all that. I know those group of people cause confusion. So we said those ones should go. But those that are Nigerians, even coming from the other parts of Nigeria, should remain, and they are remaining. So statistics is quite it's a challenge to deal with statistics. Then 2, as you develop, as you put infrastructure on ground, it also attracts people from other places. I'll give you an example of Asaba, for instance. At least in 1999, when I came to Asaba, there was no place you could buy even a second-hand car in Asaba. But today you have car dealers all over the place. But even this challenge of the population in Asaba has now increased as a result of the airport we put here. As soon as we started clearing the airport and started construction, the influx of people into Asaba, I would say not just double, but quadrupled and all that. You had people coming from across the Niger and from other parts of the... So it becomes very difficult, the way people are in our country and the way we are unable to deal with statistics. It's difficult to use projections, statistical projections or population projections to plan. And I believe that is the kind of thing we're even having in Abuja today. That when Abuja was being planned, people did not expect that the population would be what it is today. So much so that there's congestion there, congestion in many of our cities, because we have a poor statistical record.